Arsenal have finally done it. They've beaten Chelsea at their home turf, the only in the land to win the Champions League twice and now to win at the Bridge. What a time to be alive as an Arsenal fan. So, how did they do it? Arsenal started out this match strong. And when I say strong, I mean strong. The last time they went out this hard, they were playing the Champions League final against Barcelona, and we all know how that ended. Which, by the way, if you're interested in knowing how they won that, check it out here. But Arsenal were on the front foot the entire first half. And although they lined up in a 4-2-3-1 on paper, they never really used that formation through the game. Instead, Slaggers opted for a WM formation throughout the 90 minutes. Now, the WM formation, as it sounds, is having the players set up on the pitch such that it looks like a W and an M. There are three ways to play this formation. The fullback pushes into midfield and forms a box in the center. The winger pushes into midfield and forms a box in the center. The keeper acts as an extra outfield player, allowing someone else to be free. If you feel like you've seen this before, it's because this formation was popularized by Pep Guardiola during his Man City glory days. This was the formation that allowed Pep to win back-to-back-to-back-to-back titles, where we witnessed 3 backs and 1 happy Pep. Now back to the game. For the most part, managers would use 2 of these 3 methods to run the formation. But Slaggers, being the genius that she is, decides to deploy all 3 methods in this game, and the result of that is what we now know as Slaggers ball. Renee Slaggers pushed Katie McCabe into the center on the left side, Beth Mead into the center on the right side, and used her keeper as an outfield player when playing out the back, which was why we also saw Lotte Ruben-Moy and Steph Catley taking the goal kick instead of the keeper. This was done to free her up. And the reason for this was simple. Slaggers wanted to deploy her most attacking-minded players in the exact position that Chelsea defends with all their heart, the center of the pitch. And because they're constantly in the center of the pitch, this box formation also comes up again and again. And this was honestly Arsenal's biggest strength, and in my opinion, what actually won them the game. Not only does this box allow Arsenal to have control over the game in the center, but when Chelsea would try to play through the center, they were constantly outnumbered. And a clear example of this is just before Arsenal scored their first goal. Naomi Girma tries to play through the center, and we see this box come up here. One glance at this and you know that Chelsea are outnumbered. Steph Catley steps up to win the ball against Sam Kerr, and immediately Arsenal have 5 in attack against Chelsea's back 4. Cuthbert steps up to cut Steph Catley's pass, but doesn't get it, and now it's a 4v3. Lucy Bronze is staying wide to keep an eye on Caitlin Ford. Naomi Girma wants to win the ball from Russo, and Millie Bright has her eyes on Blackstenius. Beth Mead is in so much of space. She takes a touch, might as well have taken a sip of mead as well, and slots it in the far corner. And Arsenal did this throughout the game, over and over again. Now if you're enjoying this and you want me to analyze your matches, go to the pinned comment down below and send me an email and I'll get back to you. Chelsea, although lined up in a 5-2-3, mainly played in a 4-3-3 and sometimes a 4-2-3-1, which honestly was probably one of the biggest flaws of their game. Because Arsenal have 4 in the center, Chelsea were never going to beat them with 2 or 3 players in the middle. Chelsea's plan in this game seemed simple enough. They were trying to progress the ball down the wing because that's where their strength is. But Arsenal, knowing this, did really well to keep them out. Not only did they form a box in the center to create chances, but constantly there would be these boxes formed on the wing to keep Chelsea from progressing forward. And whenever Chelsea did try to progress from the center, well, they couldn't. Now, despite making changes in the second half, Chelsea probably still didn't see as much progress as they wanted. And while they were playing the same formation as before, meaning they still had the same problems as before, Slaggers didn't really change much of a plan in the second half. After all, if it's not broken, why fix it? I know I said the box was their biggest strength, but if there's anything else that comes close to it afterwards, it's rotations. The tactic that Slaggers used in this game allowed her players to drift on the pitch as they wanted, as long as they occupied the necessary spaces. The WM formation ensures that there are at least 2 players on every horizontal and vertical line, meaning the team would have bodies and control no matter where the ball was on the pitch. It doesn't really take into account what position you play, but rather your positioning on the pitch relative to your teammates is given more significance in this scenario. Slaggers is an attacking-minded manager, and we see that by the number of attacking-minded players that are present on the pitch. Even her fullbacks and centre-back want to push up when given the chance. This formation worked really well for Arsenal because the moment they would win the ball in the centre, they would have acres of space. Because Chelsea only had 2 in the centre and their fullbacks were constantly pinned, The wing was wide open for Emily Fox to run up and down she did. Having a M in the opposition half also meant that when Arsenal would pick up the ball there, instantly they'd have 5 players running at the Chelsea backline. As the game went on, you could tell that Chelsea were getting more and more desperate for a goal, and therefore more and more gaps were opening up in their defense. And unfortunately for them, despite all the chances they were creating, they were unable to break the deadlock. Arsenal, on the other hand, displayed a tactical masterclass, one pretty similar to what they showcased during the Champions League final, which, by the way, did I mention was also another analysis that I did on this channel?